This is Mr. Lewis. Apologize for not being able to do this particular superintendent update live. I had some conflicts with my schedule, and I apologize for that. My plan and my intention going forward is to make sure that we both record these for those that can't be in attendance, and we also have an opportunity for folks to ask questions at the time that I'm recording. But again, I apologize for not being able to do that this time. The last board meeting, which was a week ago tomorrow, September the 11th, we held at the Seminole campus. We try to go to our other sites a couple of times a year, just for an opportunity for the board to see the other sites and in some cases make it a little bit more convenient for folks that may want to attend that live over in that region. So last Tuesday, the 11th of September, was our regular board meeting. As far as the board agenda is concerned, I'll just kind of go down that agenda item by agenda item. I'm going to come back and talk to you about the superintendent's report and other kinds of things at the end of my discussion, so I won't stop there. The first agenda item I'm going to refer to is item number 6, which deals with our fiscal year 2019 estimate of needs. That is a part of the budgetary process each and every year. During the month of September, typically our auditors prepare a document that has a lot of numbers in it, and that is the next step in the budgetary process. It looks at a variety of things, what happened to our ad valorem tax base, which is our primary source of funds. It's about 60 to 65, approaching 70% of our total funds to operate Gordon Cooper comes from local property taxes. So we're very dependent upon that. If we expect to have an opportunity for new programs, new kinds of offerings, etc., we have to rely upon local growth to make that happen. The next item dealt with another pretty standard item in September, our 2018-2019 Professional Development Committee, and you can see the names when you take a look at the agenda there of the individuals there. Item number 8 was the board's official action to approve our district. It's called the 401A adoption agreement. I usually refer to that as just simply our matching investment program. A few years ago, the board decided to encourage and support staff that choose to invest a little bit of money in investment programs. That's technically called a 457B. It could be a 403B, but most folks that joined once our 401A moved into place were in that particular area. Our certified staff members, our certified teachers, their negotiated agreement increased their contribution levels up to $70 per month. And so the board, in essence, codified that with an adjustment to our 401A adoption agreement. I will tell you that program has done what we had hoped would happen, which more of our staff would set aside a little money each and every pay period, and then the district would match that. Hopefully you're doing that. If you're not, I really want to encourage you to do that. If you're a certified teacher or a professional staff member, the board will match you dollar for dollar up to $70 per month. And then if you're a support staff member, they'll match you dollar for dollar up to $60 per month. And so you do that over time, and there's some real value to each and every staff member. Item 9 dealt with our fiscal year 2019 district work group and district targets and the performance pay plan. That performance pay plan continues as it has in the past. Exact same dollar amounts, exact same dynamics. We have our 20 district targets that we're going to aspire to reach. Some of those are stretch goals. I encourage you to really take a look at those, because what we fundamentally believe is that everybody has a hand in every one of those district targets, some in a more direct way, some maybe in an indirect way, but we all play a part. There are also work group targets for most of the staff as well. We'll try to make sure we get that sent out to you in the very, very near future. I would encourage you to touch base with your direct supervisor. He or she would have all the specifics about that and should bring that to your attention periodically as well. Item 10 dealt with some out-of-state travel requests. I won't go into any great detail there. They're pretty well self-explanatory. Item 11, although it's not really that controversial, it was incumbent upon the district and the board to put policy in place to deal with a new state law that provides for the use of medical marijuana. And so we now have Gordon Cooper Technology Center medical marijuana policy. You should receive a copy of that. That's DP 212. I believe it'll be available online as well as a physical copy that will come from my office. But it's basically the medical marijuana policy for Gordon Cooper says that we do acknowledge the fact that state law does provide for individuals to utilize marijuana in a variety of forms for medical purposes, prescribed by a licensed physician, etc. We still, because of federal laws and regulations we have to abide by, and also other kinds of things to consider as an educational institution, there will be no acceptable use of marijuana or any marijuana products on our campus by any individual, guest, staff, student, etc., for any purpose, not only on our campus, but if you're affiliated with Gordon Cooper on a trip, etc., etc. Basically, our stance through the policy at this point is we acknowledge the fact that it is legal to use marijuana for medicinal purposes. It will not be acceptable. Again, it will not be acceptable for that to be used in any form or fashion anywhere connected with Gordon Cooper Technology Center. If you have some confusion or concerns or questions about that, please get with me and I'll try to clarify that a little bit more if necessary. Item 12 dealt with some surplus property items. Then items 13, 14, 15, all the way through 19 dealt with some personnel issues. Let me just kind of take the three under item 13, which is our executive session agenda item, piece by piece. The first one dealt with the resignation of Renee Clemons. Renee currently serves as our Eagle instructor, handles the grant that's associated with Eagle, just does a very good job along with Gloria Wallace. Renee has accepted a position elsewhere, and we certainly, as in all cases, are sad to see her go, but wish her nothing but the best. And so we dealt with that. That particular position is open and available for every staff member that has a desire, has an interest to apply for, or encourage others to apply as well. We are actually only opening that in-house currently, so it's not available for individuals outside of Gordon Cooper at this point in time. It is available in-house only at this juncture. Item B, resignation of Kim Flowers. Kim is just an excellent food service worker and has just done great work. You get a lot of emails from Kim encouraging us to maybe make some healthier choices as far as food options, etc. She has resigned as well, has taken another position. Actually, she, I believe her husband and family are moving down south of here several miles, and that kind of hastened her resignation. The last item was my resignation as Superintendent CEO. Both Renee and Kim, their resignation will be basically effective towards the end of September. My resignation will be effective at the end of the current fiscal year, June 30th. At least that's the way it stands at the current point. I don't have a lot of information to give you as it relates to the superintendent's position. I will tell you we have began advertising for that position both inside Gordon Cooper and outside Gordon Cooper. That was the request of the board. The board has a lot of responsibilities, financial responsibilities, policy responsibilities, but one very, very important responsibility they hold is to select the superintendent of this institution. And I know the 5 board members we have take that very, very seriously, and they felt it was imperative that they find the best person that they could for that role. And so we have advertised that outside of Gordon Cooper. We'll be accepting applications basically until the 1st of October, thereabouts. I think actually it's the end of this month. And then the board will work through both the application process, the interview process, and the selection process. As more information becomes available, I'll share that with you, but that's the information that we have at the current time. Items 20, 21, 22 all dealt with some standard kinds of financial information. And then item 23, each and every year when we have salary increases, which has been, we've been fortunate to be able to do that for many, many years. We always have an agenda item that deals with increases. And so the way that you deal with the increases in salaries, regardless of the amount, is you do a change order. And so you see almost 3 pages of names, and those names represent every single staff member and the increase. I always emphasize the increase that you see there is what's called total cost to district. And so that's the salary increase as well as the additional costs. It's usually about 25% additional that Gordon Cooper has to pay either to federal entities or state entities above and beyond just what the raise would cost. So that is the bulk of the agenda, and had a good meeting. We have a very, very good board, and they take their task very, very seriously. And at this time, I want to kind of go back to the reports that were made to the board that aren't found specifically in the agenda as it relates to specific items. Austin Beard, one of our aviation instructors, did an excellent job of sharing information with staff, with the board specifically, regarding a professional development opportunity he and 2 of the other 3 adult aviation instructors took back during the summer. They were able to go to a world-renowned aviation show in Wisconsin. Specifically, it's in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and he shared a lot of information with the board as related to that trip and the benefits to the aviation campus and each one of those gentlemen that attended that as well. A couple of other items that I shared with the board. One, we are going to have a Gordon Cooper Technology Center Hall of Fame event this year on December the 4th. December the 4th, 6:30. It's not etched in concrete yet. It could be as late as 7 p.m. We will induct 3 new members into the Gordon Cooper Technology Center Hall of Fame. Their names are being withheld at this particular point in time, but you'll find those out in the near future. Certainly encourage everyone to come and attend. It's not an invitation-only event. Everyone is welcome to celebrate these individuals and their contributions to Gordon Cooper Technology Center. Second item that I shared with the board dealt with the public safety facility. We're still moving forward with that. At the October board meeting, we'll be having a representative from a finance company that will be helping us with that aspect of that construction project. Still moving forward with the same concepts that we've been dealing with all along. We will move our paramedic program to that site. The site itself will be south of Diesel in kind of the vacant field there south of Diesel. It will kind of be closer to the parking lot south of Diesel and extend predominantly north and south. There will be a paramedic program in that facility. There will be meeting rooms in that facility. Our new criminal justice and emergency services program will be in that facility, and there will also be meeting space and training areas available for law enforcement and fire in that facility as well. Probably about a 20 to 21,000 square foot facility. Will allow us to offer some things that we've never had an opportunity, and it will allow us to focus on a career major that we've not had available to high school students in the past. The Criminal Justice and Emergency Services program is just about finalized in terms of the curriculum, etc. That will be a one-year, high school-only program with a heavy law enforcement focus, but it will also have paramedic as well as firefighter components as well. And we're looking forward to that. We will begin recruiting that first group of students to start next fall for that high school-only program. Hope to have 35 to 40, maybe 42 young people in that program, but that will begin next year in earnest, and we'll add an additional, like I said, career pathway as well as another program for high school students. The last thing I want to mention to you is I shared a little bit of information with the board about an innovative program that we're going to try to put in place this coming January. We've talked for quite some time about ways that we can deliver our programs in a different way. Quite honestly, since this campus and this institution began over 40 years ago, almost approaching 50 years ago, we still offer most of our programs much like we did 50 years ago in this sense. A student, be it high school or adult, comes to this campus 5 days a week and spends half a day or a full day to receive not only the traditional instruction but also the hands-on instruction. And many of our programs, it has to be that way. That's what we do. But we have been looking for quite some time to figure out a different way to offer what we do. And so in the spring, we're going to be offering a little different version of a health career program, probably only to 10, maybe 12 individuals, very targeted in terms of which districts, etc. But what we're hoping is there'll be an online component where they can get much of their curriculum in an online format and go as fast or as slow as they need to based upon their individual needs. And then they would only be required to come to campus maybe a couple of days a week to receive the hands-on portion. We haven't fleshed all the specifics out about that yet, so I don't have a lot of other items for you, but we've got people internally that are working on that innovative delivery model. And really what we want to do is we want to see if that's going to work. We're going to see if there's interest. We're going to see if the technology works. We're going to see how the kids respond to an online option versus a traditional option, and how successful are we in terms of certifications, etc. If all of those questions come back in a positive way, then we're going to look at other kinds of ways that we can deliver what we do in a different way, because we have a lot of barriers as it relates to reaching out to not only high school students but also adult students. And so I think it's going to be incumbent upon us into the future that we look for new and different ways, and hopefully better ways, to provide the education and training opportunities that we provide. Again, I want to emphasize, much of what we do has to be done in a traditional sense, but we recognize that perhaps there are some things that we have done and that we can do in the future that can be offered in a different way, in a blended approach, if you will. So we're looking forward to that. That's all I've got at this particular point in time. Again, I apologize for not offering this in a live venue. We'll look to do that in October. As always, if you have any questions about any of the agenda items or any other issue that's coming up on campus, please touch base with me at your convenience, and I'll try to respond to you. Thank you very much. Have a great day.